hi there, Loy from loymachedo.com and whoisloymachedo.com. Today, the date is the 8th of June 2014 at 7:50 in the morning. Now, today's book review is going to be this one, Conquering the Chaos by Ravi Venkatesan. Now, I happen to read this book, and this is a Harvard Business Review publication. I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, there it is right down here. Yes. So, I read the book, and I put up this review that was online, and I put the review in my own terms, however I like it. The first thing what I did was I wanted to see what were the challenges different companies faced in India. Like, for example, Facebook itself, just to make itself its service usable on about 4,000 different types of phones. 4,000, okay, with numerous variations. What Facebook did is it kind of changed its settings, and then depending on the Facebook, the phone that was used, Facebook now has created 8 different versions for users to experience the same content. So you can imagine how difficult it is for any business to run successfully in India. And now the numbers, this was a few years ago, so now the numbers must have nearly doubled. Now, if you are not surprised, I would say welcome to India. Yes, the wonderful land. Now, how do I define India? Well, India is, according to me, as far as I've seen it, it is a wonderfully corrupt, bureaucratic, superstitious country with very poor infrastructure, crumbling, unstable political system, and right now being made famous with its incredible record of women's rape cases and violation of women's rights. Well, I'm being honest about it. I'm being truthful about it because this is a fact. But then you might ask, why is India being looked upon as a wanted destination for MNCs? It's very simple. India has the highest population in the world. It has people who want to do business, and at the end of the day, money talks. So that is why people want to do business with India. So now, if they want to do business, what do they have to do? Well, obviously, they have to come down to India. So now this chap here, Ravi Venkatesan, he is the former chairman of Microsoft, and he offers a very unique perspective. Now, what he says in this book, well, he says a lot of things, but what I liked is he has hands-on experience and he knows what he's talking about. He's not just one of those guys giving wonderful theories and telling you, this is what I've studied from 10 different companies, but he's a guy who has actually worked and he has done a couple of wonderful things. Now, he worked for Cummins, that was an engineering company, and he worked for Microsoft, and both the companies made it a success. So, now what does he say? The book kind of gives you a really persuasive argument. It gives you an amazingly persuasive argument on the fact that if a company has to survive, it cannot look upon India as a short-term solution to make big money. It should not look at India as a kind of cash cow of sorts. I think in the words of the former chairman of Hindustan Liver, what's his name, Ashok Ganguly, he said, what's good for India will be good for the company. And, that is a long-term strategy of service, selflessness, and sincerity, the 3 S's. So now, according to him, the main problem with the companies or multinational companies that are coming down to India, what they're doing is they think that India is this one big country. It's not one country. It is many Indias that are part of India. Why? Because India does not have unity. Okay? They say unity in diversity. There is no unity actually. The thing is, India is so dynamic by itself. What may work in one state may not work in another. Now, the second problem is data. Now, based on the annual income group, India is stratified as a flattish pyramid, with the fat base and, the segment at the top is very rich. Like Steve Ballmer of Microsoft, what he said is it's like the Australia on top of India. Now, most multinationals, what they do is they would come down to India, bring out their global products and expect, okay, these goods will sell easily, but it doesn't work out that way. And then there is the third problem, the modus operandi. So what does it say? Most of the multinationals, what they do is they bring kind of a bag of peanuts, like, this bag of peanuts, which is here, delicious, let me have some. So what they do is they bring a couple of peanuts or a box of templates, which they think, okay, it's worked in other countries, it's going to work here in India as well. But that's not how it works out. So what these companies do is they achieve success for some period of time. They show profits. Okay, we're growing because obviously first year is 0. So second year maybe 10%, 15%. But at some point, it just stops. It stops completely. And in this book, what he calls it the Midway Trap. Now, here somewhere he has mentioned here, I've kind of underlined it. And Midway Trap, let me show you. I don't know, where did I put it? Okay, so what happens, most of these companies, most of these companies, they kind of get stuck here at the Midway Trap. And now, he says companies should look to get out of this Midway Trap and succeed. So what are the strategies? So I chalked out as to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 strategies, which I felt that he outlined in this book, although he has put more. The first strategy is, in India's market demands what I would say the Indian mentality, where 70%, they want 70% of the global value at 30% of the price. But innovation is required. So what is the solution? Indian innovation with Indian brains at an Indian price tag. So what works with India, an Indian would know, and obviously they would want always the axiom, that is the cheapest and best kind of philosophy. The second strategy is, it only shouldn't be focused on the rich. You see, there is a massive segment that is in the middle class and an even more bigger segment that is in the lower class. In fact, most of the people survive on less than $2 a day. So if you want a product or if you want a brand to be liked by people, it should be liked by the middle class and lower class, because if they gang up together and they don't like a product or service finish, you're not going to survive in the market. So that's very important. The third strategy which he suggested is, most of the multinational companies cannot survive in India's corruption. Okay, and Indian political system is as stable as a thin matchstick, you know, and you just need to break it at any point of time. That's at least my metaphor. He has not used it. So a company needs to have resilience, and in order to do this, the organization should employ country managers who are absolutely resilient. They are absolutely strong. They can tolerate all this nonsense, and you know they can actually succeed. But over here, my only caveat is, this sounds too utopian. It sounds too, wow. But the question is, can it actually happen? You know, is a big question in my head. Now, the next one, which is his strategy number 4, he says, which I totally agree. You need to have a country head, not with the replacement title. Like he should not be like the sales manager of the country who is showing sales figures and reporting to the CEO overseas. Rather, what he should be is, he should be this enterprising leader who takes charge, who loves the country, who loves the culture, who loves being Indian or loves being in India, cares about India, and whatever he does it because he has the authority and he believes in what he's doing. And it should also result in appropriate actions at the appropriate time, and investments should be made for a long-term duration. It should not be everything short-term solutions like how they have in America. Everything is just based on the stock market index flying up, going up and down every month or every 3 months. It should be focused on a long-term situation. Then I think the fifth and final strategy which he mentioned here was the joint ventures. If you want to succeed, especially in India, you need to have a joint venture where, let's say, the technology of a company overseas with the network, the distribution, and the cheap labor that is available in India, you can make this win. So it's not about just having win-win relationships, but it's something that is much more bigger and deeper than that. It is like having a long-term perspective and the willingness to make all those big sacrifices. So this is what I felt the author, Ravi Venkatesan, this is what he had said in this book. So now, a moment of truth. What I loved best about this book was the fact that the author actually addressed very sensitive issues like corruption, like weak political leadership, inadequate resources, which most of the books I didn't think covered. I've not read that many books on Harvard Business Review, especially about India. So, forgive me for my ignorance. But I also liked the chapter on the book which focused on how to target and manage leadership, talent, how to manage the working middle class, and yes, how to use India to innovate, because I never thought India could be focused on innovation. But however, I was wrong, my ignorance. Well, there are innovations, but though it's limited to only the Indian population at large. So overall, I felt that he combined his experience, he combined his wisdom, and yes, the interviews that he took with Bosch, Diri, Dell, GE, Honeywell, JCB, Nestle, Nokia, Unilever, and Volvo, all of them with the country heads, he combined all their wisdom and he put it across. Overall, I felt this book here is by far one of the best books ever written. And if you see at the back, it's also endorsed by Bill Gates and all the rest. What are they? Managing Director of McKinsey, Dominic Barton, then Narayan Murthy, who's the founder of Infosys, and John Flannery, who's the presidency of GE India. So, well, if not for anything else, I would say at least go with their recommendation. And yes, there are a couple of other recommendations inside from all these great people. So, my dear friends, if you ask me, by far this is the best book that I've read in ages. I give this book a perfect 10 out of 10. I would say you get your hands to buy this book, buy the book. It's worth every penny, and I loved it. And yes, I would say that whoever can survive in India, definitely, well, they have the stuff that men are made up of. Loy from loymachedo.com, giving you the book review of Conquering the Chaos by Ravi Venkatesan. Do buy this book. This is worth its money in gold. Goodbye for now.